That's
That way
right.
it won't mess the video. There we go.
Kenny, how we doing?
Hey, good afternoon, man. I am fantastic.
All right. This is everybody's favorite topic, right?
Yes, it's one of those things around the kitchen table. We can talk about, um, relationships. We can talk about politics. We can talk about religion. But man, that saving money topic can get shut down in a hurry.
Well, this is going to be mostly geared towards first-time home buyers, but I think there's going to be a few tips in here that, some of the folks in our age bracket might appreciate as well. So saving money, the struggle with it, it's almost like dieting. It's something that it's a forever thing, right?
Yeah, the struggle's real for sure.
So as we're having these discussions with these young folks who are entering the market, they don't have a lot of a background or history in saving money. So let's talk about how we keep it simple for everybody, kind of the different things that we do along the way to help everybody kind of get into our world, what we do today.
Absolutely. So the topic of saving money is probably said a lot, but not much detail is in there to be able to give somebody an understanding of where to start. And what I've seen with the folks we're talking to is they're just looking at it backwards. And so what we're going to talk about is let's keep it super simple, and then let's get the expenses identified so that you can understand how much money can be saved, and then we go from there. So the four expenses that we all have are housing, food, transportation, and then our wonderful cell phone or internet, because we can't exist without it. So that's what you need to live.
All right. What does all that mean? So somebody calls you and they're basically saying, what can I afford, Ken? Help me get there. Where do you start?
We start with understanding where the income comes from. We do the soft credit pull to figure out the expenses now. But we also ask them to do the budget sheet to break down these four categories, which is these are your critical expenses. Everything else outside of these four, it's discretionary. You have some ability to adjust those to maybe move more of that over into savings.
All right. So housing, mortgage,
we got rent,
property taxes, rent insurance, utilities. That's your basic housing, right?
That's your housing bubble. Well, you nailed it. That covers all of them in that category.
Food, we're counting eating inside the home and eating outside of the home.
Yes.
Okay. Transportation, vehicle maintenance, gas, insurance, car payment.
Nailed it. Yep. If there's if you happen to be in the city, maybe any other parking or public transportation that may need to factor in, but that's not a lot. Yes.
Okay. So cell phone, all right. So I got it. So what you point out to them is every single thing. So if we're looking at your credit card statement, you're rolling through there and saying discretionary, meaning you might not be able to buy new clothes for a month or two. That vacation that you are desiring to go on, date night, you might have to put that on hold for a period of time to save some cash. How do those conversations, what is that like for them when they're staring down the barrel of the gun and you're talking to them about it?
Yeah, it's not as bad as what, kind of maybe what you're thinking based on how you just described that, right? What we're seeing is there's more of an aha moment, which is when you look at it that way to say, this is what it costs me to live and everything else is discretionary, as opposed to let's just see how the month goes and then what's left over, I'll save. It's more of a realization that, hey, there's a different way to look at this and what you're saying makes sense. So you don't even have to go back very far. You can conceptually rattle through those four expenses and nail them down, right? Meaning that I know my rent insurance, maybe I have storage. Simple. My car, I know what my car payment is. I can ballpark my insurance. I can throw in 50 bucks a month for maintenance, brakes, oil changes, whatever. I've got that capsulized. Food, you don't even have to go back to look at what you're spending, but you can get an idea of what do I need to pay in groceries each week. If I'm going to go out to eat once a week, you can nail that down. You have your cell phone and internet, boom, you know what it costs to live. So if you look at that number and say, here's what the balance of what's coming in, oh my God, where is that going? And now you get to look at that and say, hey, maybe it makes sense for me when I get paid to take $200 to $400 and move it into another account, and I live off what's left. I now have to adjust my discretionary spending because that's all that's in my checking account.
All right. So that makes total sense. And it makes total sense why people struggle with it. It's like the rush to go out to the gym January 1st and you work out for 3 or 4 weeks, kind of dies off. What happens there with the savings? So they might be able to do it for a month. What do you see happening month 2, 3? What causes the collapse? I guess
Yeah, so that working out or weight loss, it's the same struggle in that you don't get an immediate gratification. You've got some discipline, and it's hard to go and look and say, hey, I'm accumulating these funds off to the side, and give it enough time so that it becomes exciting as opposed to paying down a debt. We want to attack both sides of that, but it just takes a while for that to become addictive, to see some reward from the efforts.
A long while, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it's a lifestyle change, whether it's a diet or working out or saving money. It is a lifestyle change where what you're saying is get your fixed stuff and then pay yourself, and then you'll have some discretionary to use. Then you have the decisions on which discretionary things am I going to do, as opposed to doing all your discretionary and then trying to put a couple bucks aside.
Yeah, in this whole process, our wish for people is to not overcomplicate it. So it's not a really in-depth logic discussion. It's more of a doing discussion. And that's the part that it's like, hey, that's why if you can keep it simple on the concept and start doing, everything can always be adjusted. But if you don't get started, it's just not going to happen.
I'm thinking of, they don't understand what's discretionary or not sometimes, correct?
That's why we limit it to those 4 categories, which is
Okay.
It has to be really, really simple and blunt and direct. This is what it costs you to live. All that other stuff, it is discretionary. And that doesn't go over so well all the time until people think it through. But okay, I understand what you're saying.
Oh, but I want the new thing, the shiny object. I need the fix. I need the sugar from the food or whatever it is, right?
It is. And when you talk to somebody, we've used this discussion before, but $500 a month contributed to an investment account over 41 years is somewhere between $1.2 million and $1.4 million that it will have accumulated. That's exciting, except for that darn little spot in there that says 40 years. It's way easy to forget that. But in reality, you just have to make a little more than you spend over a long period of time, and that provides financial independence.
Okay, so I love this. I love the keeping it simple. I love the fact that you can pinpoint it to the 4 categories, and you can do that quickly, in the matter of less than 5 minutes.
For sure.
So in 5 minutes, every one of you guys watching out here, comment below if you need the 4 simple pillars for you to do your 5-minute exercise. After that, everything's discretionary, and you need to figure out, I'm going to set the discretionary aside, and then I'm going to pay my 4 pillars. I'm going to pay myself, meaning into a separate account, and then I'm going to mull over the discretionaries.
That's perfectly said. Yeah,
Gotta
that's our wish.
Yeah, that is our wish. That is the goal. Reach out to us with questions. This was an easy one, but a fun one. Anything else you need to add?
No, just that pay yourself first concept. We had to get through the expenses to identify what you could really pay yourself first, but that is a great saying and a simple reminder.
Thanks,
Later,
guys.
bud.
See ya.